Man Hour Nation? On tonight's show, we're going to talk NFC East, AFC East, 2 days till kickoff, NFL power rankings, and of course, top 10 running backs in the NFL in the 2021 season. Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah. Get high, rapper. The Man Hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know. Let me introduce you to your host of the hour. If you Mike. Yeah, it's the Man Hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws. Yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down. It's going down. I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back. I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules and know that it be fair and foul. Rep blow the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field or outside the lines. It's the Man Hour though, now we going live.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com, check out the merchandise page, and of course, check out the blog section as well, as we do try to upload blogs each and every day over there on the Man Hour website. Also, if you're not following us on the old TikTok there, you can find us at Man Hour Sports Talk on the old TikTok machine, and of course on Twitter at manhour_radio or man_hour_radio, and you can find me on the old Twitter machine at manhour_buck as well. You can also find us on Facebook at Man Hour Sports Talk at facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk, I should say, and of course, we are powered by Belly Up Sports tonight. So head over to bellyupsports.com, check out their blog section, and check out the hundreds of other sports podcasts right there on Belly Up Sports. Tonight's show, like I said earlier, we're going to talk NFC and AFC divisional rankings. We are going to be talking about Zach Martin and the Dallas Cowboys. What's up, Gunner Poor? Thank you for the super chat, my man. You are the greatest fan out there, hands down. So we're also going to talk the Tampa Bay and Dallas Cowboys game. And we got a special guest coming here in about 30 minutes, Grammy Wallace. He is a Toronto Blue Jays beat writer, but he is going to be covering the NFL power rankings for us here in the 2021 NFL season. So it is, guys, it is going to be an action-packed show. We are basically going to dive into it right now. I am flying solo tonight. Combs is on basketball duty. Tori is in a networking event, and Wyatt's writing another 12-page paper today. So welcome to college, Mr. Wyatt Williams. But to get to tonight's show started here, guys, we are exactly 2 days away from NFL kickoff here. So obviously the first game of the season is going to be the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It has been a game that's kind of been anticipated, but at the same time, maybe overshadowed here by the whole positive tests that are starting to come out here in Dallas land. If you guys have not heard, Zach Martin did test positive over the weekend, and he is more than likely not going to play in this Thursday game. I mean, so he basically has to say he basically has to test negative twice here the next 2 days to get a chance to play. And quite frankly, it does not look good for Mr. Zach Martin himself. So the question that is going to be arise real quick here is, can the Dallas Cowboys survive without Zach Martin on the field? So when you look at the roster breaking down, we have many skilled players on the Dallas Cowboys team. You have CeeDee Lamb, you have Zeke Elliott, of course you have Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper. The list goes on and on and on. Mike Parsons, but I feel that Zach Martin is the one player on this Dallas Cowboys team that you cannot lose, especially when you're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's flash back to the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who were the Kansas City Chiefs missing when that Buccaneers defense absolutely destroyed my Kansas City Chiefs? That's right, their starting left guard. So who are the Dallas Cowboys missing? Going to probably miss this Thursday? That's right, their starting left guard in Zach Martin. So he like I said, He has tested positive. We cannot say the C word because we will get shut down again. And quite frankly, I'm getting tired of getting shut down because of the C word, but he has tested positive. So with all that being said, Dak Prescott has not also taken a preseason snap since his brutal leg injury back in week 5 of the 2020 NFL season. And without your arguably the best player on your team not being, playing, that makes Dak Prescott's job a hell of a lot harder. Let's just be flat out honest about it. Dak Prescott hasn't had people around him, touching him, pressuring him to throw the ball all off season. Since the leg injury in 2020, almost a year ago, 11 months, he has not had anybody touch him, anybody pressure the throwing or anything to that effect. So this Dak Prescott advantage that maybe the Cowboys had, hey, we don't know what Dak is really going to do. We have been kind of keeping him under wraps, kind of keeping him from the public, and then going to release the beast as they as they say. Something is not going to be well for the Dallas Cowboys, and this is definitely not good for Dak Prescott one way whatsoever. So before, what's up, Drew? Thank you for jumping in, in the chat, man. Definitely appreciate you 100%. So when we look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Dallas Cowboys game, we have to ask the question: how can the Dallas Cowboys win this game? How can the Dallas Cowboys win this game? And right now, with Zach Martin being out, you have to establish a running game. You have to give Zeke Elliott the ball 20 to 30 times in this game to basically take pressure off of Dak Prescott. You want Dak Prescott throwing the ball maybe 25 to 30 times tops. That you kind of want to have a pitch time or a pitch count on Dak Prescott, because if you're going to throw the ball 60 times, that means they're going to get pressure on the quarterback, and you don't want that backup left guard being exposed. So how can the Cowboys win this game from an offensive standpoint? Give Zeke the ball many, many, many times. Short, intermediate passes. We're talking like 5 to 7 yard slants. Get CeeDee Lamb. On those quick slants, and then only go deep to Amari Cooper maybe once or twice in the whole game. If I see the average passing for Dak Prescott over 8 yards, the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose this game 100%. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, how do you mute that Buccaneers defense? And the reason why I say mute, because there's no way they're going to be able to shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. We've seen Mike Evans said that they are miles ahead from last season already, and quite frankly, that has to scare some people. And how do you control the Buccaneers defense? I think you have to take away the short to intermediate passing game. So you make Tom Brady throw the ball 10 plus yards every time he wants to throw the ball. Pressure the wide receivers, dare them to throw the ball deep on you, and get burnt 2, 3, 4, 5 times deep. That will be okay. I do not want them to nickel and dime me down the field, because I want Zeke to run the ball over and over and over and wear out that Buccaneers defense. So how do you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense? Take away the short to intermediate passing game and make them run the ball outside. So stack the box on the inside from tackle to tackle, make them run the ball outside, pass the ball deep, and I think that will spell success for the Dallas Cowboys coming up in this game. As River decides to come up and say, "What's up? What's going on, little man?" Okay, can you go ask mommy, please? I'm in the middle of a show, okay? No, don't touch any buttons. Oh, okay. Please. Right. So don't touch any buttons. Go ask Mama to put on Paw Patrol, okay? Okay. Okay, bud. Go watch Monster Trucks then. Okay, you tell Mom you want to go up. All right. I love you, buddy. All right, guys. So as River comes and interrupts the show here for a minute, had to take care of little man for a second. Sorry, dude. So let me go ahead and address some of this comments from Subas here, and he says, "And Brady will burn you. I let him toss a bunch of 25-yard touchdowns." Yes. So Subas, I think that is the only way the Dallas Cowboys have a chance is to make the Buccaneers beat you deep. Just because, like any, with any quarterback, I don't care who you are, the longer you pass the ball down the field, the lower the percentage completion rate is, right? And yes, I know Tom Brady has a great accuracy arm. Yes, I know he has a plethora of receivers. Supposedly Antonio Brown is looking like he did 4 or 5 years ago with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Evans is healthy. Chris Godwin has a healthy thumb. The white boy, Scooter or Scott or whatever his name is, he will be shifty in the out. I want Tom Brady to throw 25 yards down the field every play. Just because I feel that 70% of the time I'm going to break that up. So, and then I think Tom Brady is going to get upset when he's only completing 30% of those passes down the field, and he is going to try to start to force some of those short to intermediate passes, much like what Tom Brady did in the Super Bowl. It was quick hitters, boom, 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 down the field, just basically nickel and diming the Kansas City Chiefs defense up and down the field. And if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I do not want that whatsoever. So hands down, I do not want this at all. So then I want to bring up what Bruce Arians did say about Mr. Antonio Brown. He did say Antonio Brown looked like he did when he played with the Steelers. Well, if you guys remember the last time Antonio Brown's played with the Steelers, he got knocked the F out. It was him and Juju, and Antonio Brown went over the middle and went up for a pass, and he got Tweety Bird, and he was knocked out, and he has not been the same since. So if it was 4 or 5 years ago, which I think that was the last year he was with the Steelers, if I remember correctly, I don't want that Antonio Brown at all whatsoever. I want the Antonio Brown that has a chip on his shoulder and ready to ball out. So I don't think Antonio Brown is going to buy into this system that he is going to be in, unfortunately. So with all that being said, I do have to take a little break here because we do have NFL power rankings coming up here in about 15 minutes, and I got to get in the NFL top 10 that I have running backs. So, and as River decides to go crazy, so guys, we will be right back here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back. What are you doing, man? You're being crazy. Are you locked outside? welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse flying solo here. If you guys would be most inclined tonight, hit that like button, hit the share icon, as well as we try to grow the stream each and every day. We do see a new member here in the chat, Midwest Lion. Thank you for jumping in the chat here tonight. He says, thank you very, very much. I saw y'all on Luke G's field review the other week, and I like y'all's point of view. So yeah, Luke G has become a very good friend here at the Man Hour. Me and Tori, we spent damn near 2 hours there about a month ago, and then Tori was on there again last week or 2 weeks ago as well. So we definitely have stuff going on over there with Luke G, and Luke G will be on us as well as the Lions get 11 wins this season. So he's definitely going to be rant and raving here when they go 11-5 this year in the NFC North and win that division. But with all that being said, guys, like I said, we are giving away a trip to Las Vegas. So during the April draft in 2020-22, Man Hour Nation is giving you a flight and hotel to Las Vegas the weekend of the draft, as we cannot guarantee you draft access because it is a first come first serve, and you basically have to stay in the line for 8 or 9 hours to get into the draft, especially the first night. But we are giving you airfare and hotel to Las Vegas. How do you get signed up? You simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit the join button. If you become a member for $5.99, you get free entry into that Vegas trip. We also give away extra entries if you become a weekly chatter. If you are a top 5 chatter in the week, we will definitely, you get additional entries here. So I will bring up the points here in just a second, and you will see right now who the top weekly chatter is. So it's probably between Drew and Soup Boss right now, and Javier, and then Mr. Gunnar Poor. So guys, right there, I mean, you guys are in the top 5, and obviously the first place gets 5 entries, second place gets 4, 3, and so on and so forth off on that. But now it is time to give you guys my top 10 running backs going into the 2021 NFL season. So disclaimer here, I do not have any rookies on this list because simply I don't think that the rookies deserve to be on any type of top 10 list throughout the NFL, just because you cannot realistically project their rankings in the NFL, because the college game and the NFL game are so different. Like, Trevor Lawrence may have been the best quarterback in the NCAA, but this year he is going to be a bust in the NFL. So you can have him in your top 25 and like your top 10 if you want to project what college, stuff like that. But I don't have any rookies on on there just because it's playing out asinine. Let's just be honest. So like I said, in about 10 minutes here, we do have week 1 NFL power rankings coming up here with Grammy. So we are really, really excited about that. But without further ado, coming in at number 10 on the NFL top 10 running backs going into the 2022 NFL or 2021 NFL season, I have Mr. Antonio Gibbs, Washington football team. So Gibbs is entering his second year. He is just 23 years of age, and basically he is a Ron Rivera coached running back. Who else is a Ron Rivera coached running back? CMC. That is right. Because, yes, CMC is a very, very special case, but let's be honest. Ron Rivera had a hand of making CMC the way he is. So Antonio Gibson should have a more featured role this season, especially after his amazing rookie season that he had. So last year he had 170 carries for 790 yards, just averaging just over 4.7 yards per carry. But this is the biggest thing here, is he had 36 receptions on 44 targets. So he caught damn near 80% of the balls throwing to him, and just under 250 yards receiving, with a total of 11 touchdowns for the Washington football team. I look for him to get about 1,300 to 1,400 yards rushing this season, and he is going to be, I really think, a featured in the receiving game moving forward. So then at number 9, I have Mr. Brandon Combs. Mr. Brandon Combs, David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears. So I feel that David Montgomery was definitely a little hyped as like a rookie back in 2019, but 2020, man, he settled things down and he got the ball rolling for the Chicago Bears last year. He had 247 carries for 1,070 yards, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. He also had 54 receptions for just under 450 yards for a total of 10 touchdowns on the season. So I feel that Andy Dalton is really going to use David Montgomery rolling out of the backfield, and they're really going to be a really run-happy offense this season. Even though Andy Dalton is a top 10, 15 quarterback in the NFL, many people don't see it, and I don't think the coaching staff sees that like as well. So there's going to be a lot of handoffs per se. Coming in at number 8, I do have Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor was took off as the workhorse down the stretch during his rookie year for the Indianapolis Colts. And, with the injury bug that is biting the Indianapolis Colts right now, I definitely look for him to be that featured back there in Indy. He also had a great college career in Wisconsin, so he definitely has the ability to definitely really carry a team per se. And then also with the addition of Carson Wentz to that offense, that's really going to open up the running game even more. He did have 232 carries last year for just under 1,200 yards for an average of 5.5 yards per carry. He also had 36 receptions for 300 yards and 12 total touchdowns. So look for Jonathan Taylor to really, really be a featured back this year for the Indianapolis Colts. Then coming in at number 7, we do have Saquon Barkley. Obviously he has already kind of hit that crossroads in his career. It's kind of a make or break season for him, like especially coming off of that ACL injury that he sustained last year, week 2, I do believe. And in 2019, he was also hampered by injury as like as well. But in 2019, he did get 217 carries for 1,000 yards, averaging 4.6 yards per carry with a total of 8 touchdowns. So a healthy Saquon is very, very good for the New York Football Giants, and look for him to have really good season this year. Coming in at number 6 here. Number six, we have Mr. 2,000-yard runner himself, Mr. Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans. He is 6'3", 247 pounds. But he also carried the ball 378 times last year for 2,027 yards with 5.4 yards per carry. This is the big red flag for Derrick Henry, as he only had 19 receptions on 31 targets. So his hands to me are seen kind of shaky. You only catch about 50% of the passes thrown to you. So that kind of throws a red flag to me. He did have 17 total touchdowns last season. I do anticipate him taking a step back. Yes, he will probably get 1,700 yards this season because he will get 400 carries, but that yards per carry is going to go way, way down, and the receptions are going to go down as well. Just because we see he kind of has stone hands, 19 for 31 on the receiving thing. So with all that being said, defenses know how to stop Derrick Henry. That is simply putting people in the box, making Ryan Tannehill throw the ball, and Ryan Tannehill lost a lot of good receivers during free agency. So that's why I have Derrick Henry coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, I do have the the Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb. I believe Nick Chubb is going to be the featured back this year in Cleveland, as he probably won't score a lot of touchdowns because Kareem Hunt will kind of be that in the red zone specialty kind of guy, third down back. But I really think that Chubb is going to really explode this season. I didn't even have them in the top 10 last year, and I have him breaking the top 5 here in 2021. He did have 190 carries for 1,000 yards for 5.6 yards per carry, and 16 reception on 18 targets for 150 yards, receiving for 12 total touchdowns. So look for Nick Chubb to have a pretty good year here in 2021. Coming in at number 4, I do have Mr. Green Bay Packer himself. If I can scroll down and get his stats for you, there it is. It is Mr. Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. He is a phenomenal change of pace back. He can power it, but he also has these has the speed to break away as well. He did have 201 carries last year for 1,100 yards for 5.5 yards per carry, also with 11 total touchdowns. The biggest thing for Aaron Jones, 47 receptions out of the backfield last year for 355 yards. So that's why I do have him coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, another injury-plagued running back. That's CMC, Christian McCaffrey for the Carolina Panthers. He is 25 years old, but he only played 3 games last year with a multiple of injuries. Like, he had the quad injury, he had the ankle injury, and I think he had like a neck or back injury as well. As of right now, he is fully healthy, and look for him to be a very featured back there in Carolina, with Sam Darnold like at the helm. But in 2019, he had 287 carries for 1,300 yards, but 116 receptions for 1,000 yards. So for a total of 19 touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey in 2018. So I do have him coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, I do have Delvin Cook for the Minnesota Vikings. He was a selection 8th overall from Florida State, and he has been thriving in the Minnesota basically zone blocking scheme that they have. Spread them out and basically find a gap. He had 312 carries last year for 1,500 yards, with averaging 5.5 yards per carry, with a total of 17 touchdowns. And then, of course, the number 1 running back in all of 2021 in the NFL is going to be Zeke Elliott. So Zeke Elliott is going to be a feature back in Dallas Cowboy land, hands down. No question in my mind. He is going to get 30-plus touches on Thursday night in just 2 days, and look for him to have 20 to 30 carries every game. Yes, I know Mike McCarthy likes to throw the ball and whatever, but this year, look for Zeke to really pound the rock. So, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here, and on the other side of the break, we do have the Week 1 NFL Power Rankings with Grammy Wallace. So, looking forward to that 100%. We'll get him on the air right after the break. So, we'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheister here tonight, flying solo. You can find me on the old Twitter machine at manhour_buck. But if you are new here to the YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, as we do upload clips each and every day, 5 to 6 times a day. We have at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m., Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday we throw in the 8 p.m. hour as well as Saturday as well. Also, if you guys are on the old TikTok, go ahead and head over to TikTok and look over for Man Hour Sports Talk as we upload clips over there as well each and every day. This portion of the Man Hour, guys, is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. So head over to thrivefantasy.com and use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. However, for the week 1 of the NFL season, which starts in 2 days, if you use promo code MANHOUR and you deposit up to $10, you will get free entry into their $100,000 giveaway. That's thrivefantasy.com. Promo code MANHOUR. Of course, you can also download that on Android and iOS devices. But we do have a very special guest here, guys. Graham Wallace is joining us here tonight, and he is going to give us, guys, the weekly NFL power rankings. So every Thursday here, right about this time, Graham will be joining us, and we are very, very excited to have them. But Graham, before we get too carried away, let the people know who you are, what you're all about, and where they can find your blog.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Buck. Graham Wallace. You can find me on Twitter at Bus Wallace. I'm the Blue Jays beat writer for Belly Up Sports. So I've been doing a lot of baseball writing, but once I found out about this chance to jump on with you guys and talk a little NFL power rankings with the baseball season winding down, I jumped all over that. So this should be fun every Tuesday night. Really looking forward to this season.
Yeah. So you are a Blue Jays beat writer. Just so Brandon Combs knows, how bad are the Chicago Cubs?
Oh, well, they I don't even know who's on their team anymore, really. They pretty much traded away practically all the players on their team, but they'll always have 2016.
Yeah.
I've become kind of friends with a fellow writer, Ryan O'Rourke, who's a Cubs fan as well, and he kind of commiserated a little bit about that. But they'll always have 2016, and a city like that, a market like that, I'm sure they'll be able to retool in the next 4 or 5 years or so.
Yeah, that's exactly what Combs banks on every time is 2016, 2016, 2016. But we are here all about the NFL power rankings. The NFL kickoff game is just 2 days away, not 2 hours away. I wish it was 2 hours away. It's 2 days away.
Yes, sir.
And so we always have to have power rankings to judge teams and whatnot. So give me your number 10. Who do you have coming in at number 10 in this week 1 NFL power rankings?
Yeah, number 10, I got the New Orleans Saints. I know, obviously, there's a big change at quarterback there. The legend, Drew Brees, is no longer in the building. There's a bit of a competition there between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. It really came down to that, I guess, the final preseason game, or I guess it was the penultimate preseason game. Winston had a great performance, and he really earned the job. But I think that's a better situation for the team as a whole, because Taysom Hill, he's like that Swiss Army knife. He could play special teams. He could play running back, tight end, receiver, and he could even line up behind center from time to time as well. So he's a great athlete, and I think he benefits the team much better as a backup quarterback and a contributor on a lot of different aspects of the game. He'll play several hundred snaps, I would think, besides at the quarterback position. So I think they had a few losses on defense as well, but I trust Sean Payton to at least be in the wild card mix.
Yeah, I mean, you can never put the Saints out of any type of power rankings, just like I feel, just because they only lost Drew Brees, and then Alvin Kamara is back. Michael Thomas is healthy, if he's not fighting his teammates and being upset and asking for trades. So, but my man Brandon Combs says that Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and if that's true, I mean, you have to put the Saints in like in there. You are kind of taken back by that. Do you not think that?
I mean, we're not too far removed from his 30-30 season, and I don't mean home runs and stolen bases like baseball. 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. I don't think you could consider him to be a top 10 quarterback. I think I could easily name 10 quarterbacks that are better. But he just needs to take care of the ball. They've got a pretty good running game. So if he could just maybe keep that to say under 20, and have those he could still have 30 touchdowns. Just the 30 interceptions are a little too much. They've got a strong defense, pretty good underrated special teams as well, I would say, with Harris back there returning punts. So he just got to realize that he doesn't have to play hero ball. He doesn't need to do it all himself. And I think he's matured a little bit since he's entered the league. I want to say 2015. So maybe this is the year it all comes together for him, for Jay Boo. But top 10, I think that's a little too rich for me.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So at number 10, you do have the Saints. What about number 9?
So number 9, truth be told, I had them a couple spots higher until about a week or so ago. The Baltimore Ravens. I think J.K. Dobbins going down, that's going to hurt their ground attack, which means so much to them. I don't think there's a team that relies on the running game more, possibly the Seattle Seahawks, but the Baltimore Ravens, they're all about that ground and pound. I like Gus Edwards, but I like him more in a complementary role. They're going to need someone else, whether it's Tyson Williams. There's a couple other guys in the mix there. But I'm not sure if Gus Edwards is ready to be that number 1 guy. So I still think they're going to have a dynamic running attack, especially when you add in Lamar Jackson and everything he can do. I think their passing game could improve as well. They were, I believe, last in yards passing last year. Even if they could get somewhere into the mid-20s and still be a top 10 rushing attack and a dominant defense, I still think this is a team that can be competitive in the AFC North.
Yeah, so a couple things here. Like, I know you are new to the man hour, but we don't speak Lamar Jackson's name here in a very high manner. He is a very trash quarterback. He is bottom tier quarterback here on the man hour. No, I'm totally kidding, but not really. But
Okay.
But I did read earlier today that the Ravens did sign Le'Veon Bell to the practice squad to maybe complimentary Gus Edwards a little bit. I don't know how much Le'Veon Bell will accept that back feature role, because he didn't do it in Kansas City at all. I mean, he actually said that the Kansas City foundation was crap, more or less. So he definitely wants to be the guy. But having the Ravens in the top 10 after losing 2 running backs here in the last week, and that Lamar Jackson just isn't a very good quarterback, I don't think you can put them in the top 10.
Well, these are my power rankings.
Yep.
I have them just squeezing in there. I have a lot of faith in John Harbaugh. One losing season since he entered the league in 2008. I think him and Mike Tomlin have been really stalwarts in that division. I mean, I do have them as the 3rd place team in this division. I meant no spoilers. Who knows what other teams I have ahead of them, but I believe in John Harbaugh. I believe in this organization. And, I have my questions about Lamar as well. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. He hasn't really showed up in some of the big games.
Right.
So he's got a lot to prove, certainly. I think some of the guys they added to that receiving corps, Sammy Watkins, I think Devin Duvernay could be a bit of a breakout candidate. He's going to need to step it up with throwing the ball and not just running it. So it's a 9. I really couldn't have them go much lower than that, but I did actually have them a couple spots higher than that. And then the Dobbins injury happened. I read a little bit about it, and it made me feel like, I have faith in this organization and in John Harbaugh. They're going to find a way to win 10, 11 games, I think.
Yeah, and as the people in the chat, they come at me, that is Buck's opinion about Lamar Jackson. We all love him over here. So just some food for thought on the Lamar Jackson. So the Saints at 10 and Ravens at number 9. Who do you have coming in at number 8?
So number 8, a bit of a bounce back as far as the way their season ended. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were among the worst rushing teams in the NFL last season. I really like the selection of Najee Harris, Alabama running back. I think he's big, strong, ready for that RB1 role. And that's really all this team's lacking. I think Ben Roethlisberger has a resurgent season in him. They still have a pretty good core of receivers, including the Canadian Chase Claypool. That defense is still competitive. I think it could still be a top 10 unit. I think they're definitely have a chance to win that division, or at least be, in the mix, certainly for a wild card. I'd say a dark horse Super Bowl contender.
Wow. So that's kind of a exact opposite of like what I'm thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, because we broke down the AFC North last night, and I actually had the Pittsburgh Steelers going 8-9. Just because I don't have faith in Big Ben of getting the ball down the field anymore. But like I said, we will see when that time comes. So who do you have coming in at number 7?
So number 7, I think I like this team a lot more than quite a few other people, but I got the Seattle Seahawks. They kind of their season didn't end the way they wanted to with that playoff loss at home to the Rams. But I think Russell Wilson will find a way to be there. Chris Carson, one of the most underrated running backs in the league. I think the defense is still going to be tough, led by Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams and Pete Carroll. One of the strongest coaches in the league. I definitely think they're going to be in the mix. I think it's going to be a really tough division between them, the Rams, and also I think the 49ers could have a nice bounce back as well. So I think some people think they're kind of falling off a little bit, but I still am expecting a strong season from those guys up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are like always right there in the top 5, top 6 of every power rankings week in and week out. They are just a solid team, and that NFC West is probably the toughest division in all of football. So if you are in the top of that division, you are going to do good things. So I definitely like that number 7 pick with the Seahawks. You have coming in at number 6.
So number 6, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got the Cleveland Browns. I'm a believer. They really put it all together last year. I think they have the most dynamic running back duo in the NFL with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Obviously, they did a lot of damage last year without Odell Beckham Jr. He's going to be back. They got Jarvis Landry. They've got a really dynamic offense. I really like the selection of the linebacker, Owusu Karamoa from Notre Dame. I think he could really make an impact right away. Jadeveon Clowney, I'm not sure how much they're going to get out of him, but you got Myles Garrett on the other side. So I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on opposing offenses. And Baker Mayfield just he has to realize that he doesn't need to do it all by himself, much like
Right.
Jameis Winston. If he could get that completion percentage from a high 62% to somewhere in the 65% range, I think that's going to make for a much more efficient offense. And they just got to take that final step. They're right there. They just got to put it together. I know that's been hard for them to do over the past couple of decades, but I believe in this team.
So let me ask you this question here, because I thought that the Cleveland Browns last year got basically more explosive and more controlled without Odell Beckham Jr. on the field. Do you think possibly they could take a step back with adding that ego back onto the field?
I think it's a definite possibility. I think Baker has a tendency to look out for OBJ a little bit too much. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's saying to him on the sidelines. Maybe he's saying, "You got to get me the ball. You got to get me the ball." We all know he does have an ego, but his boy's there too. Jarvis Landry. They obviously went to LSU together. I don't know if they keep each other in check at all, but I do think there's a real team atmosphere here, and they're not going to let him kind of blow it for them. I definitely think that's a possibility, but Baker just got to throw to the guy who's open and not just force balls into him. And if he
Exactly.
could do that, I think they could have a really balanced offense that could put up a ton of points.
Yeah, so many people here on the Man Hour actually have them going 13-4, if not 14-3 this season. So 6 is probably right up there where many people have them. So just to recap your bottom 5 here, coming in at number 10, you had the Saints. 9, you had the Baltimore Ravens. 8, you had the Pittsburgh Steelers. 7, you had the Seattle Seahawks. And number 6, you had the Cleveland Browns. Who do you got coming in at number 5, Graham?
So number 5, I have a team. A lot of people are all over the Los Angeles Rams. They got a new quarterback. They put in Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff out the window over to the Detroit Lions. And I think Sean McVay and a lot of the Rams nation are really excited about the possibilities of that move. I think you're going to see a lot more downfield passing with this team, Woods and Kupp and some of these other weapons that they have, Tyler Higbee as well. I know Cam Akers, that injury could be a big loss, but I think they'll be okay. And I really expect them to be kind of a 60-40 passing team. Actually, I think they're going to be really aggressive with throwing the ball down the field. And we're going to kind of see the Rams we saw 2018, I should say, when they went all the way to the Super Bowl, when Goff was playing at a higher level, a bit more confident player he was back then. So I think Stafford will be able to unlock things in the offense that really McVay didn't feel comfortable doing previously with Goff.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they do have probably the most dominant defensive player we have ever seen in Aaron Donald on that side. And just that defense is probably a top 5 defense in the NFL for at least the last 2 seasons, if not further. And I anticipate them being much more of the same. Like, we haven't broken down the Rams division yet with the Seahawks and stuff like that. But right now you have 2 NFC West teams in the top 10. So obviously, it's going to be a very, very competitive division, and hopefully they don't beat down each other and keep each other out. But many people do have the Rams in the Super Bowl. But
Yes.
who do you have coming in at number 4?
So number 4, I got the Green Bay Packers. I think quite a few people had them maybe a little bit lower, maybe towards 10. But I still believe in Aaron Rodgers and the other Aaron Jones. The rest of this offense, I don't know if Robert Tonyan's going to catch 12 touchdowns again, but he's definitely a downfield weapon as well. Devontae Adams is probably a top 3 receiver, whether you have him 1, 2, or 3. You probably have him somewhere in that mix. I still think the defense is good enough to be competitive, probably be a top 10 unit or so. I still believe in this team. They won 13 games the last 2 years. They weren't able to finish. They got to the NFC Championship the last 2 years. I think they're so close. I like what they've got going with LaFleur and Rodgers. I think they actually do have a good relationship. There's been a lot made out of that. But I'm going to believe in this team until they start falling apart. I haven't seen any cracks in the seams, so I still think the Green Bay Packers have a very strong season ahead of them.
Yeah, you will not see any cracks in the seam until week 2, when the Detroit Lions come into Lambeau and beat the Packers by 17 points, I should say, as the Lions will go 11-6 this season. So they'll be in your top 10 by week 4, I bet.
Wow, so that is bold.
That is bold, but very, very true. But however, we do have 2 Packer fans here on the show, and Tori and the Wyatt Williams. So they'll be very much in love with that number 4 pick. But who do you have coming in at number 3?
So I got the Buffalo Bills. We saw Josh Allen just take off last year. He increased his completion percentage by over 10%. He's just so much more efficient, but still explosive, throwing the ball down the field. He developed a magnificent connection with Stephon Diggs. Cole Beasley also had a great season. He's been making the news for other reasons. We don't need to go there. But I think the defense needs to get better and needs to improve. Certainly, AJ Epinesa is a guy that they drafted out of Iowa a couple of years ago. They're looking for him to make an impact. They also took a bit of a flyer on a late first round pick, hoping to improve that pass rush, which is really the biggest weakness of their team. I also think they could stand to make some improvements in their running game. They kind of went with a by committee approach with Singletary and Zach Moss as well. So if they can make some gains in those 2 areas, I definitely think this is a Super Bowl caliber team. Josh Allen is, I think, a top 5 quarterback right now, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. However, I do have the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl this year, so take that as you will. So just to recap the top 5 here, we have 5 coming in with the LA Rams, 4 you have the Green Bay Packers, and 3 you have the Buffalo Bills. So coming in at number 2, it better be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or we might have problems here.
I'm sorry, sir, but it is the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that's boring to make the Super Bowl runner-up the number 2 team, but I think the number 1 weakness of this team, and we saw it exposed big time in that Super Bowl, was the offensive line. Now, they did take major steps to address that, and I really like the moves they did. I think they could at least be an average offensive line this year, and that's really all they need. Patrick Mahomes, he's probably the best quarterback in the NFL, or on a very short list of maybe 2 or 3 other guys. They've got an explosive offense. They've started to see some defections in that receiving core, though. I've talked about Sammy Watkins earlier. Maybe he's not as valuable as he used to be, but he's gone on to Baltimore. They've also lost Chris Conley. So I think they're going to see a guy like McCole Hardman have to step up a lot more. The guy's a real speedster, along with Tyreek Hill, 2 of the fastest receivers in the NFL. They still got Kelsey, but they might need another receiver or 2 to kind of emerge that not a lot of people really know about. I think the defense is good enough to get the job done. They don't necessarily need to be dominant, but Chris Jones and some of those other guys with the pass rush, Tyrann Mathieu on the back end, I still love this team. I still think they're a Super Bowl contender. Andy Reid is my guy, but I couldn't put them in the number one spot with all the things that happened kind of in the off season.
Right. And hopefully Chris Jones is able to play if he stops putting loaded machine guns in the back of his SUV. So hopefully he will learn from the previous 2 times he's been caught. But so coming in at number 1, you obviously are going to have the Detroit Lions there, right?
Well, I mean, I have them at 1, but not number 1. There's another number ahead of the 1, so we have to stay tuned for that. Number 1, again, maybe you could call me boring, but I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, defending Super Bowl champions. They brought everyone back, and they made a couple of nice draft picks, and they got Gio Bernard as a third down back, something they really didn't have last year. So I know it sounds crazy, but they could even be better than they were last year. Tom Brady's not going to let complacency set in. I'm not a fan of the guy, but he just gets it done. Year after year, I've learned better than to bet against him. So I'm just going to put them at number 1. And if they start losing a bunch of games, you're going to see them drop from there. But I have to put them at number 1 to start it off. Call me boring, call me what you will, but these are my rankings. That's how I have them.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to put the defending Super Bowl champs at number 1. I feel you are number 1 until somebody knocks you off. So just to recap here, you have at number 10, you have the Saints. Number 9, you have the Ravens. 8, you have the Steelers. 7, you have the Seahawks. 6, you got the Browns. 5, you got the LA Rams. 4, you got the Packers. 3, you got the Bills. 2, you got the Chiefs, and number 1, you do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the only team that I really don't like up there is the Steelers, to be honest, just because how they finished last year. Yes, they started off the season 12-0, but they lost the final 5 games of the year. You can call it a fatigue, or maybe just people just figured them out, But as of right now, I would bump everybody else up. And I would probably slide in the Tennessee Titans in at number 10, just because of like what they did in the postseason. It was very exciting to watch.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I don't know how deep we're going to go into these, but I actually have them just outside the top 10. I have them at number 11. I think they're probably the strongest team in that AFC South, which you can make a case could be the weakest division in the NFL this season.
Right.
I like Ryan Tannehill more than most. I don't know how much Julio Jones has left. I'm also a little concerned about Derrick Henry and the amount of carries he's had over the last 2 seasons. The defense showed less bite last year than it did a couple of years ago when they went 9-7 and then went on that kind of magical playoff run. So I like Mike Vrabel as well as a coach. I think they're a good team, maybe a dark horse pick. If things bounce right, they could find themselves in the big game. But for now, I have them just outside that top 10 ranking.
Yeah, so looking at your top 10 here, let me ask you a question. What team outside of the top 10 has the best chance to make the Super Bowl in your eyes?
You know what? I'll take a shot here and say the San Francisco 49ers. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't been able to stay healthy, so they made a bold move and they traded for the rookie Trey Lance. I love the potential of this kid. I know he hasn't played a lot of football, but they've been talking about mixing both of these quarterbacks in. I really like their defense with Nick Bosa. I know that hasn't worked in the NFL, and I don't know it's going to work its way out. Either Jimmy G is going to be healthy and play well, because when he's healthy, he has played well.
Right.
I like the running game with this team. I like Kyle Shanahan as a head coach. And I still think this defense can be dominant. I know it may seem bold. They only won 6 games last year, but I really think this team can rip off a bunch of wins and maybe even win that division. I know it sounds crazy, but if I had to pick one, that's the team with the highest potential, I think, in that kind of 11 through 20 group I have.
Right. And to be totally honest, I am on board with you 100%, just because of everything that you said. They are just 2 years away removed from a Super Bowl, which their coach ultimately lost in the game by, deciding to pass the ball and just not keep their running game up the way they were all playoffs. I feel like if the 49ers would have won that Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, we would be talking about the San Francisco 49ers dynasty getting ready to happen, not the Kansas City Chiefs. So I definitely like the San Francisco 49ers dark horse kind of pick there 100%. So guys, that is going to be it for Graham's Wallace NFL preseason top 10 power rankings. Like I said, he will be with us every Tuesday about 8:30 East Coast time here on the Man Hour. So Graham, anything to tell the people before you head out?
Hey, if you have something to say about my power rankings, or if you like them, if you don't like them, please hit me up on Twitter at BusWallace. Check out my articles on bellyupsports.com. I'm writing more about baseball stuff, but as things wind down, you might see some articles about football as well on there. So come hit me up.
Yeah, so I will post his Twitter and his latest blog in next week's bio section down there on the YouTube page. So Graham, thank you for joining us, man, and guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour, radio.com, and check out the merchandise. We do have some new merch dropping here very, very. Also, if you are not already, head over to /Man Hour and hit that join button. And as little as 99 cents a month, you become a member here on Man Hour Nation. We have the after show, we have the behind the scenes footage, we have merchandise discounts, aka merchandise discount for this week is Sunset. So if you type in the word Sunset at checkout at manhourradio.com, when you buy some merchandise, you get 20% off of your purchase. So Sunset is this week's discount code. So obviously we had the 99 cent thing, and we had the $2.99 is when really the big perks start to happen. You get access to Tori's and Wyatt's fantasy show every Wednesday here at 10:45 East Coast time. You have to be a $2.99 member to get access to that. So if you have any fantasy football questions whatsoever, hit them up on Twitter, slide into the DMs, or tag them on their Twitter post, and they will get that answered throughout the show. $5.99, you get entered into that Vegas trip. You also get a t-shirt after 6 months of being a part of the Man Hour $5.99 deal. That's the gold membership. And of course, you get extra discounts on merchandise. Then the $9.99 deal, you guys get behind the scenes footage. You get all the after hours footage. You get a hoodie every year. You are part of the Man Hour Nation 99 crew. And other big deals. So you guys check it out, youtube.com/Man Hour, and hit that join button. So guys, we had Graham Wallace here talking about the NFL power rankings, and I am so glad we had him on. And there were some comments, and I saw you guys commenting on a few stuff here, but one of the comments that stood out here was Drew's comment. He said everybody underestimated the Bucks last year, basically never saw them coming. Now everyone knows and won't make that mistake again. This year they'll be gunning for the Bucks this year. So you are absolutely right. It is a different game when the hunted becomes when the hunters become the hunted. And last year the Bucks were the hunters, and then this year they are going to be the hunted. So with that being said, we are going to be breaking down the NFC East division right here, guys. Like, obviously we did it way too early back in February and like in March. So tonight I am going to tell you exactly what team is going to do, and we have to start with the best team in the NFC East, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. And speaking of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is exactly who the Dallas Cowboys have week 1. So right off the bat here, a few games to watch, obviously, is that week 1 game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then I have them the week 13 game versus the New Orleans Saints. So right off the bat here, guys, many people are not giving the Dallas Cowboys any credit or any chance in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. So I'm calling it right here on Man Hour, 9/7 at 9:04 East Coast time. The Dallas Cowboys will beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football in 2 weeks. That will catapult the Cowboys into a 11-6 season. They will match the Detroit Lions with one of the best records in the NFC. I have them, beating the Eagles, beating the Panthers, beating the Giants, losing to the Patriots, beating the Vikings, beating the Broncos, Falcons, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Raiders, and losing to the Saints. So that week 11, 12, 13, 14, I actually have them losing 4 of their 6 games in that couple week stretch there. But I do have the Dallas Cowboys going 11-6 this season. So guys, watch out for them. So players to watch for. Look for, obviously, Zeke Elliott to have a stellar season, a 100%. But flying under the radar type of person, look for Micah Parsons to have a great season. Defensive rookie of the year caliber type of season. Micah Parsons is going to lead a great Dallas Cowboys defense. The Dallas Cowboys defense has kind of been their Achilles heel the last couple seasons, and we are going to see the Dallas Cowboys be a top 10 defense in the NFL, led by Micah Parsons. So that's going to be my player to watch and kind of keep an eye out for. But just to recap here, I do have the Dallas Cowboys going 11-6 and 5-1 in the division, with the only loss coming to the Washington football team in that 4-week skid here. So moving on to the next team here, we do have the Washington football team. So guys, many people are high hopes on this Washington football team. Mr. Tory Anderson at @manhour_Tory actually had them going 13-4, and I don't know if they're going to be that good. It is very tough for me to bet on Ryan Fitzpatrick. It is very tough for me to basically bet on this journeyman of a quarterback because, let's just be honest. Whether you want to admit it or not, he got benched in Miami for a rookie quarterback. Yes, he was playing great. Yes, he was having a good season, but at the end of the day, he got benched for a rookie quarterback. So with that being said, I had the Washington football team only going 5-12, 3-3 in the division this season. The game that I have circled that could possibly turn their season one way or the other is week 3 versus the Buffalo Bills. The Washington football team will travel to Buffalo, and it could be a good game. Yes, the Washington football team has a stellar defense. They got a good running back as well. But at the end of the day, I do not have faith in Ryan Fitzpatrick whatsoever. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably going to get benched by week 5 for what's the backup name now? His Heineke. So I think Heineke will come in, or maybe even Cam Newton. They might pick up Cam Newton off of the street, but I do have the Washington football team going 5-12 this season. So a player to watch out for the Washington football team is obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, because if they're possibly going to go 13-4, like Mr. Torrey Anderson said, Ryan Fitzpatrick has to have a stellar season. I'm not rooting against them by any means, even though I am a passive Cowboys fan. But at the end of the day, Ryan Fitzpatrick will make or break this team's season, and for them to make it, Ryan Fitzpatrick has to have a great season. So with that being said, he will be my sleeper kind of pick for the season here. But before I move on, I have to give a big shout out to Jimbo G. Jimbo G just super chatted $10, and he came out and said that you got the Lions going 11-6, and I got them going 10-13 games. Salute to you, Drew. Midwest Lion and everybody in the chat. Big salute to you, Jimbo G, because I have faith in the Detroit Lions this season. We talked a lot about the Detroit Lions last night, and we will continue to talk a lot about the Detroit Lions moving forward because they are going to be the best team in the NFC North. There is no question in my mind that they're going to go 11-6. They're going to beat the Packers week 2 when I'm sitting in the north end zone with my beautiful wife, right of the goal post. I will be wearing a Packers jersey because supporting my wife and her team. But secretly, I will be rooting for the Lions. Every time Jared Goff throws a touchdown pass, I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh man, darn it. But secretly, Lions 11-6, hands down. But thank you, Jimbo G, for the $10 super chat. I cannot thank you enough for that. So moving back to the NFC East here, I do have the Cowboys going 11-6 and the Washington football team going 5-12. But they are not even the worst team in the division. And the worst team in the division has got to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just be flat out honest. Like, I don't have any faith in Jalen Hurts whatsoever. I don't have faith in their head coach. I don't have faith in their defense. Hell, I don't even have faith in their mascot. Their mascot might even get injured one game and forget to show up, or it just, they are not a good football team whatsoever. And with that being said, I do have them going 3-14 this season. One game I do have circled that could possibly maybe swing their season one way or the other is that week 5 game when they travel to Carolina to take on Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are kind of that wild card team. When we break them down tomorrow, we will talk about their record moving forward. But if the Eagles can really right the ship versus Carolina, because I do have them starting off 0-4, and I actually do have the Eagles beating the Panthers in week 5. But if they really right the ship and really start things rolling, they could possibly end up with 5 wins. Where do those 5 wins come from? Maybe they get an extra win from the Jets. Maybe they sneak one from the Giants. Like I don't know, but I do have them going 1-5 in the division, and the one division win is against who is it against? It is against the It's got to be the Washington football team, right? No, it is against the Giants. It is against the Giants, the week 12. So week 16. So I do have them beating the Giants once. So a player to watch for, not Jalen Hurts, not Joe Flacco, but the backup quarterback, Gardner Minshew himself. I am not a Gardner Minshew fan whatsoever. I actually despise the person. I despise his mustache. I despise his hair. I despise his charming good looks and his short shorts and his cut off jean shorts. I don't like the person at all. But if the Philadelphia Eagles want to win at least 6 games this season, Gardner Minshew is going to be the reason why they win those games. Not Jalen Hurts, not Joe Flacco, not anybody else. So Gardner Minshew is kind of the player to watch for you Philadelphia Eagles fans moving forward. But it is what it is. Sorry, Eagles fans. You guys are going to go 3-14 and probably last in the division, unfortunately. So speaking of last in the division, we are going to talk about the New York Football Giants next. The Giants, obviously they were riddled by injury. Last year, Saquon Barkley went down week 2 with the ACL. And I think the Giants actually got better by subtraction last year. Daniel Jones had to grow as a player, as a quarterback, as a teammate without Saquon Barkley like on the field. And I think that kind of did better for them. So with that, this year, I actually have the Giants going 7-10. So they are definitely not as bad as they were last year. That actually puts them second in the NFC East to finish out out the year. But the game that I have circled is that Week 4 matchup versus the Saints. Because as you guys know, Graham Wallace has the Saints coming in at number 10 in the power rankings. And if the Giants could even compete with the Saints, I think that will give them momentum going into Week 5 when they play the Dallas Cowboys. But looking at their schedule, it is not easy whatsoever. They do play a good Washington football team. Yes, I do have them finishing 5-12, but Week 2 they do play Washington. They play the Broncos. They play the Saints. They play the Rams. They play the Chiefs. They play the Raiders. They play the Bucks. They play the Chargers. They play the Miami Dolphins. That is very, very tough out of conference schedule that they have to play, not counting they have to play the Dallas Cowboys twice, which is the best team in the NFC this season. So unfortunately, right now, I do believe the Giants will be on the outside looking into the playoffs this year, but much improved. They will be 7-10 this year, finishing second in the NFC East. So, guys, we are up against the next break here as I try to catch my breath, and we will be answering some of the comments here on the other side of the break, guys. So sit back and relax as we come back from the Man Hour right after this break.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to Man Hour Nation, guys. Michael Buckhouse here, flying solo tonight. It is that time of night where we open up the chat line for you guys to ask any questions that you want that have been burning in your mind, anything that you want to ask, sports-related, life advice. Well, should you get a haircut? Should you eat that hamburger? Absolutely yes, 100%. But before we do anything tonight, guys, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button here on YouTube.com. Guys, we are 2 subscribers away from 1,700. I would love to get 1,700 by the end of the week. So definitely share this with a couple friends. Hopefully, guys, I have made you laugh and think and maybe root for the Detroit Lions like this year. I don't know. If you get any value of anything that we say here on Man Hour, hit that like button and definitely share it. Like, we don't ask you guys for anything but to hit that like button and hit that share button each and every night. We are here live on youtube.com/Man Hour every Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. East Coast time to 10 p.m. East Coast time. So 2 hours, 20 hours a week, live, raw, uncut sports talk. Also, if you do like to support us a little bit more, you can also hit that join button here on YouTube, and you can get entered into our Las Vegas trip giveaway for $5.99. That's right, guys. For $5.99 a month, you can enter in our Las Vegas trip giveaway during the NFL draft in the 2022 season. So, I mean, obviously, like I said before, we cannot guarantee you access into the draft because it is a first come, first served basis, and we've heard that you had to wait 7, 8, 9 hours sometimes to get in. But we will be paying for your airfare and hotel there to get to Vegas and get back home. So you also get to hang out with us, have some beers, do some cocaine off of hookers' butts. I'm totally kidding, but we're going to have a great time there in Las Vegas with one of you fans here that are 599 member on youtube.com/Man Hour. So let's get into the comments, because I have been kind of neglecting the comments here tonight, and I definitely apologize for that. But sometimes when I'm doing a solo show, I feel a little bit overwhelmed and my throat's going out. So give me a drink of this iced tea. And let's jump into the chat here. So Drew, Jimbo and Drew were coming back and forth when I was speaking about the Detroit Lions. Like, obviously, Jimbo says he likes the 11-6 because he is a Packers fan, but he also says they got 10 to 13 wins this season. I think 13 is a little bit of stretch, but I think 11 is right there where it needs to be. And then Drew comes out and says that I see maybe 10 games, but I think it's going to be more, or 8 or 9 wins for the Detroit Lions this season. Drew, the problem right now is we don't know how Jared Goff is going to incorporate into this offense. Now, I expect Jared Goff to elevate the whole team as a whole. I expect Jared Goff just to be, a leader on and off the field. Get DeAndre Swift, up and going, much what we saw Eckler last year. Eckler kind of took off with Jared Goff under his wing, and so I expect to see that. And then Drew also says, I don't think the Bucks are going to be as good this year. Drew, I totally disagree with you on that. And not because of the fact that they're going to take a step back or they're older or this or this or this. I think the Bucks will be just as good, if not better than that, because they do have an offseason, a year under the belt. Tom Brady will probably be calling plays all season. But I don't think the record is going to reflect it, because many teams, we've seen how to beat the Buccaneers, and that's make them throw long passes down the field. And that's exactly what they got to do is they got to force the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of what they're used to doing, or AKA Tom Brady, what he's used to doing. Tom Brady is used to getting the ball one Mississippi slant route, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi out route, hand the ball off. That is what they are used to doing. So I think that's how you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys are going to do. But another huge shout out to Jimbo there. He dropped the 40 note on the super chat here. Jimbo G, you are the man tonight. He says, salute to you, Man-Hour, Buck, and Tori. Tell Tori I said hello. What games do you think we lose and win, and why this season is 11-6 prediction? I like the show. We thank you, Jimbo, for being here 100%. So let me pull up my Detroit Lions picks from last night here. So we will go week by week here, and like I will tell you who I have them beating and whatnot. So right off the bat, I do have them going 4-2 in the division, Jimbo. So week 1, I have them beating the 49ers at home. Week 2, I have them going into Lambeau Field, beating the Packers by 17 points. I think Jared Goff flexes on that Green Bay Packers defense. I think the Detroit Lions take what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did to them in the second half and exploit that, put that into the game plan and execute it, aka exploit Kevin King over and over and over and over again. Now, the first loss of the season. And then I kind of have the Lions going on this little skid here. So week 3, week 4, week 5, I do have them losing to the Ravens, Bears, and Vikings. Obviously, those are their 2 division losses in the year. Week 4, week 5, and then week 6 they bounce back and they beat the Cincinnati Bengals by, I don't know, let's say 21 points or 21 points or so, because Ford Field is a very hard place to play. I was like, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I was there a couple years ago. I think it was 2019 when the Chiefs came in to Ford Field and they were undefeated like at the time, and we barely escaped there with a win. And the Lions were not very good that year, like at all. So I think the Lions win week 6, and then week 7 when they travel to LA, I think they lose that Rams game as well. So between week 3 and week 8, I only had them winning one game, but then they go on a tear. They beat the Eagles, they go into a bye week, a much needed bye week, and then they rattle off 4 games in a row. They beat the Steelers, they beat the Browns, they beat the Bears and Vikings, and then they lose to the Broncos. Playing at Mile High is a very tough place to play. Me as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I see it every year. The Chiefs, the Raiders, and Chargers, they all struggle when they go to Mile High. Every team struggles when they go to Mile High, and I don't think it's going to be any different for the Detroit Lions. I think it's an ugly game, like 7-6 or something. It's going to be very low scoring, very, very ugly. But then they beat the Cardinals and the Falcons, lose at Seattle week 17, and they end the season off beating the Packers week 18. So for the Detroit Lions purposes, the losses that I have are week 3 versus the Ravens, week 4 versus the Bears, week 5 versus the Vikings, week 7 versus the Rams, week 14 versus the Broncos, and week 17 versus the Seahawks, giving them an 11-6 record, 4-2 in the division. So Jimbo also has them going 4-2 in the division as well. He also says that Goff will be fine. The more protection he has, he will be better. You are absolutely right. I think Penny Sewell is the big X factor for the Detroit Lions, 100%. He did not look good in the preseason whatsoever. I don't know if it was because of the hype, or maybe we were expecting him to be up here when he's still here right now. But biggest step in every NFL team, every NFL player, is from week 1 to week 2. So we will see where he's at week 1 and say he's here. We expect him to be at a stage 9 by week 2. So if he's coming in at like a 7, we expect him to do 2 or 3 steps better come week 2, and then obviously that's where we can really measure him moving forward. So that is my pick for the Detroit Lions. Like I said, 11-6 this year, 4-2 in the division. The biggest key here, though, 7-1 at home. So I do have them being very dominant at home this year, with the only loss at home coming against the, who was it? Who was their home loss? Oh, the Ravens. The Ravens coming to town and beat them. So let's go ahead and jump back into the chat here. I already addressed that comment by Drew. He says everyone underestimated the Bucks, and I think I've addressed much of the comment. Drew says Buck wears a Lions hat while wearing the puke jersey. I don't own a Lions hat. It's like I got my UK hat and I got my Royals hat. Like those are the only blue hats that I have. Maybe I can pick up a Lions hat on the way to the show there, or to the game. I should say. Jimbo G's come out and says, I think the 49ers suffered a major loss with one of their key players that helps them lose out. So are you referring to week 2 or week 1 when the 49ers play the Lions there, Jimbo? Are you predicting the 49ers have an injury in that game? Or like, I'm kind of confused of if you could clear that up, that would be awesome. Yeah, so Tori was on Luke G's show last time, because it was me and Combs and Wyatt here on the Man Hour, and so there's 4 of us on the Man Hour. So usually there are 3 of us like on the live show, and when the other person isn't on, we try to get them to guest on other shows to spread awareness about our show and to share content, and just build that relationship outside of our 4 people. So yeah, Tori was on Luke G's show last time. However, me and Tori were both on there the first time. So I am looking forward to being back on Luke G's show very, very, very soon. Keep going through the chat here. Oh, wrong button. Jimbo, probably with your comment is he had to protection with the Rams. He couldn't get it done. So, Drew, you're saying that Jared Goff will have a bad season with the Detroit Lions. Is that kind of what I got out of that right there? Like, if he's going to have a bad season, like how bad of a season is Jared Goff going to have for the Detroit Lions? Jimbo comes back and says the Lions are unknown, which will catch a lot of teams off guard. Raymond will help the Lions move the chain. That is my boy. Yeah. So when me and Combs were talking about the Lions last night, I didn't know all the receivers off the top of my head. I had to pull up the roster and look, and like I think that's a big X factor for the Detroit Lions. Is the only people that you really know is DeAndre Swift and Jared Goff. Like the rest of the team is unknown. This defense is sneaky good. So you can pull up the stats, and they are top 10 defensive stats from last year. So I mean, their defensive stats are there. Jared Goff has that Super Bowl experience, leading a team to the Super Bowl, and obviously DeAndre Swift is a very, very powerful running back. And I think the biggest issue for the Detroit Lions is, can DeAndre Swift stay healthy this year? I think that's really the only big if for the whole Detroit Lions team this year is, can they stay healthy? So I anticipate them staying healthy 100%. So I think DeAndre Swift will sneak into a top 10 running back in the NFL from a 2022. So guys, with all that being said, I got to wrap up the show tonight. We are up against the time. I do have an interview planned, to fill the 2 hours. Like obviously, we do have Zen on. So if you guys are not following us on Belly Up Sports, you can watch that interview on Belly Up Sports tomorrow at 11 a.m. East Coast time is when the full 2-hour show will air. So guys, this is Michael Buckheiser, live, raw, uncut sports talk here on the Man Hour. We will catch you tomorrow as the whole crew is back, and we will be covering the NFC and AFC South teams. So 2 days till kickoff, guys. Get excited. And Drew, best wishes to your wife. Hopefully she gets better and you guys stay healthy. So guys, well wishes from here, everybody at the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Thanks for the cheaper chats tonight, guys. And as always, stay blessed.